This is Sports Center.
Welcome. The date is 10/17/2024. We've got a Thursday night matchup between the awful dog shit Saints tonight and the somehow even maybe worse Denver Broncos. Thursday night football. Nobody knows how they were selected, and yet we have to watch them. The nice thing is they're so bad, nobody's fantasy teams will be impacted tonight. Nobody has any pieces. They're worthless. Hey, Zach. I am CJ. This is Too Late Takes.
Let's get this shit done before games start today. Jumping right into my neighbor versus the Chicago Bear homos. We have John with some rough sit starts. A fake Bears fan not starting Caleb Williams and Keenan Allen against a shitty Jacksonville defense. I don't know what he's doing.
Nathan took a chance. A great chance. He traded for the always injured A.J. Brown. Always injured. In fact, he's so injured, he's never missed more than 3 games in a season. Unbelievable. After his absence, what did he do? Well, he came back out, and what do you know? He is actually still A.J. Brown. He had a ton of yards, a touchdown, and a ton of points, making Andrew's trade look even dumber than we already knew it was.
6 catches on 9 targets. Very nice. Not to mention Evan Ingram missed 4 games so far, came back, caught all 10 targets for 102 yards against Chicago's decent defense. But still, players coming back, playing like they've never left.
Yeah, I mean, it really is incredible. Not only did Nathan swindle Andrew in that trade, however, then Andrew dropped Evan Ingram. So, some really questionable decisions going on over there in wherever the fuck he is.
It's not ready for Diddy. Diddy!
Derp, have you ever been to a Diddy party?
Ain't no party like a Diddy party.
It's not what I asked.
Ain't no party like a Diddy party.
I am now afraid.
See me after the show.
Wait.
John had some banged up backs this week with Devon Achane, Rashad White, and Nick Chubb not being able to play. He had to start the very, very good running backs in Ezekiel Elliott and Emmanuel Wilson.
Truly, what's crazy is starting those two is not that much different than starting his 2 original starters, as they are bad. That's it.
They are bad.
There's no bright side. All right, Derp, here we've got a breakdown of the game that happened. Clearly, obviously, we knew. I mean, this just wasn't ever going to be a game from the snap. The first game, Sunday, 1 o'clock, I mean, it was over. I think the things that stand out here to me, as we said, A.J. Brown, Evan Ingram. But that's not to say that John, I mean, he put up a fight. Brock Bowers almost was able to cancel Evan Ingram. However, that's it. Nobody else. I don't think they knew they had a game on.
Nope. Just a blunder. Starting a backup running back for the Cowboys against the Lions defense. Just
now, here's the nice thing for John. If he had nailed every single start sit, his ass still would have lost because his team is bad.
Don't beat yourself up, John. There's nothing you could have done.
You literally couldn't have been better. It doesn't matter. Our next game of the week was Brendan, 4-1, versus Matt, 4-1. The fucking Titans clash.
Or so we thought. Brendan's struggling with a lot of injuries this week. Nico Collins went on IR last week. Christian McCaffrey still has not decided to show up at all. We don't know what he's doing. So rest in peace to all of them, especially Brendan's playoffs hopes.
Now, I do want to point this out. We found out that CMC left the country going overseas. Now, could this coincide? I mean, Diddy gets arrested. Some names get thrown around. CMC is like, oh, I gotta go. I mean, look, I'm not one for speculation, but CMC may have been at those Diddy parties.
Someone check the lists.
Matt showed up. or at least 3 of his players showed up. The rest of them quite literally couldn't, as they were on bye. He left the wheel to his Bronco, to OJ's Bronco, completely unattended. But he has friends in high places, as Nathan decided to move his starters in for him, which the league decided was a fair thing. However, it does not shake the idea that this week was indeed a Mickey Mouse week for Matthew.
Lack of decorum? More like lack of points, as Brendan put a massive stinker up this week of 67 combined points. Here's a live look of Calvin Ridley's film from Sunday. Let's take a look at all 8 of his targets.
Wow. Amazing.
With both of these teams having good records, we're going to have to see who this win affects the most.
Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, here's a final look at how things shook out after Monday night of Week 6. We had a whopping, I'm not great at math, but around 150 points total between both teams. Keep in mind, Nathan scored 142 by himself. I mean, look in here, it just...
a real shit show.
I don't know if I've ever seen these small of numbers anywhere else other than the marks on my ruler after the bathroom.
Absolutely, 100%. I agree. I also go through that same pain. You have a team not even start a kicker. Are we trying? What's happening?
No. No, there's no trying here. Game 3 was the best of both worlds. Game 1, we had a firework team. Game 2, we had 2 dog shit piles. Game 3 combined both of those and said, what if we lit a dog shit firework off?
Smell it.
And that's what we got. Andrew versus Evan was everything that nobody thought it would be. And we saw the effects of Andrew's amazing trade in which he sent... it's not even worth it. I don't know.
Basically, everyone we talked about playing well for Nate's team was on Andrew's team.
Yes. And everybody that played bad for Andrew is now on his team.
He might start to regret that trade. But for this week, there's nothing he could have done. The start was perfect. Everyone just played like hot ass.
I like hot ass.
You don't like this kind. But for Evan, he had the highest scoring player this week in Chris Godwin. He really brought the boom. Now, Evan in week 4 had the league's highest points dropped on him, 174. He's probably not very happy about it, and he's very excited that he was able to at least get the second most points in a week of 165. The biggest blowout this week, it was 87 points. More
That's a lot of points.
than Brendan scored this week, mind you.
Oh, here's a live look at the final of the score here. I mean, I tell you what, when your worst performing player is Jahmyr Gibbs in a 47-9 blowout, I mean, that just speaks volumes.
That is.
Now, to Andrew's, credit, one of the players he traded for did have a pretty okay game in Tony Pollard. It just took them playing one of the worst defenses in the league.
They still lost, might I add.
The guy he traded away in Kamara still had the same, and then... But we're not going to look at that.
No. Instead, we're going to look at Mark Andrews. He finally did something. He now has the same amount of receiving touchdowns as our GOAT, Jared Goff.
Wow. Isn't that something?
Shout out, Mark.
We had Sean versus Josh. Sean was called the worst team in the league after week 1. Amazing. We had the Bears fans defending Caleb Williams from those allegations, and yet we threw them on a random dude in our league week 1. Crazy. And then Josh, it's been rough, man. I mean, he has got a very solid team. However, they don't know how to play together. It's been bad.
atrocious, really. But Sean is heating up here. Even with losing the coin toss of starting Zach Moss over Chase Brown and getting a whopping 0.5 points, he still won by damn near 20 points. After scoring just 140 total points in the first 2 weeks, he's now been averaging 126 points per game and has won 4 in a row. The only thing he
League
has...
average. Damn. I cut your ass off. Know your place, bitch. League
right.
average points, 115. If he keeps this up, God knows he might go undefeated.
The only thing he has to look at is the Jets now getting Devontae Adams. Where is that going to put Garrett Wilson? Now that Garrett Wilson has finally decided to start putting up first-round pick numbers.
As I've mentioned previously for Josh, his team likes to pick and choose when they go off. Nobody's gone off together. Bad matchups, bad coaching, poor team overall. I meant morale, I said overall. We don't know what to chalk it up to, but one thing certain we can chalk it up to is, holy shit, is everybody on his team dying. I mean, this is ridiculous. Puka week 1, Olave multiple times this season. Now Rashid Shaheed is out for the season. I mean, this is just unfortunate.
It's heartbreaking.
Here's a look at the final of that game. Sean scoring 116 to Josh's 98.
The only thing you can say is maybe he could have squeaked out a win had his receivers been healthy. Had Chris Olave not died and fumbled the ball and lost him points. Who knows?
Is that the only person that's finished with negative points this year?
Travis Etienne also finished with negative points. Also, this week, also.
Oh, wow. This is me!
Yes, it is! And
This week, I took on Colin. I know nothing about Colin, and I've never met him. I took Jacob's word that he is a decent guy. But again, not that I'm a speculator. Is he on the Diddy list? Who knows? Not me. I don't know him. Look, I'll look you right in the eyes here, okay? I'll get real emotional here. I need help. And you could help me. For just a few fab a day, you could fund my need to constantly scour for the next random Jawan Jennings off of waivers. Because every fucking guy I put in my wide receiver 1 slot dies.
mind you, I'm just going to butt in here. Both trades CJ has done recently with myself and Nate, he has stolen $20 fab, so I wouldn't pick him up on this offer. But he has been dealing with a lot of wide receiver injuries, and somehow the best wide receivers on his team are Deontay Johnson, Cortland Sutton, and Demario Douglas. That's disgusting.
Pop, pop, baby.
Last week, he's decided to trade for Lions legend Zach Ertz for someone who I didn't even know was going to be playing, Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon put up a whopping 2.9 points and also got injured. Meanwhile, Zach Ertz had a very good game for tight ends in this league and put up 10.
Some may have looked at my game against Nathan, where Josh Allen put up 8 points and said, "You got lucky. He had a starting quarterback put up less than 10. And to that, I'd say, fuck you, I did it again, okay? All right, it's not luck. It's mental mind games. I'm in their head."
The Lions played the Cowboys, and this game was personal after what happened last year. And the Cowboys have been struggling already. So they were in for a bloodbath. Dak Prescott put up a whopping 5 points.
Colin has got some good people, but like, there's quite a few of them that didn't show up. However, one of them that did show up was my guy, DJ Moore. Now, he didn't show up to play fantasy football.
No.
He showed up to get high, finishing with 4 receptions and 20 yards. Nice.
Very nice. Thank you, DJ.
This is a final look at the game. I scored under the league average of 113. It didn't matter. My opponent put up 91. I'm going to be honest. Just like I said with the... Oh, you know what? I'll point him out. Okay? MVP. Hear me out. Chris fucking Boswell. Now, this is a guy. Okay? That's all I got. Chris Boswell.
He is, in fact, a man. And to add on to it, Jordan Mason is now hurt and also will lose his job soon.
Game 6 or 7, maybe 5. I've lost count. The important thing was it was Zach versus AJ in America's Game of the Week in the too late tussle of the tomorrow. That's trademarked. Don't use it. Now, a big thing with this game was AJ talking a little bit of smack about Derp's carry and my boy toy, Derrick Henry, all right? And now, it's one thing you want to talk smack about somebody other than Derrick Henry. But when you talk about Derrick Henry, he's going to take that long prone bone out, and he's going to make sure that you feel it. And then, of course, the newly added Najee Harris, as soon as I traded him, did in fact have his first good game of the season, and also double-dicked AJ with Derrick Henry. And not that he's a little weirdo, but the Red Rocket was peeking in there a little bit too, waiting for thirds.
That is true. He got spit roasted this week, AJ, but it's not his fault. AJ missed out on his stack of Patrick Mahomes, Xavier Worthy, and also had injuries of Jonathan Taylor and Devontae Adams. That's 4 of the however fucking many people you have to start each week, and I only beat him by 20 points.
This was the end of America's Game of the Week and too late takes tussle of tomorrow. That's right, I remembered. I remembered the name.
Okay.
We picked this game to be Game of the Week because going into it, both teams were 3-2. It was a closely projected game. It was middle of the pack records, and we thought it'd be a good one. It was an okay one.
It's pretty
There's
good.
Not much else to say.
Apart from the boomer bust gamble with Trey Tucker.
Tony versus Jacob. The bad versus the criminally bad. I'm not going to tell you which one you are.
It's a very good win for Tony this week, as his sit starts were almost perfect. Apart from something no one would ever expect, that Gabe Davis finally does well. 20 points on the bench. But I too would have started Rome Odunze over him.
You know, I have almost 0 rules when it comes to playing fantasy football. I'm willing and open to everything. Some might call me a bisexual. However, I have one rule when However, I have one rule that I stand by steadfast, and goddammit, that is to avoid Gabe Davis like the plague. It is the worst experience to have him. I've never experienced it, but I know that I don't want to. It's like STDs. I can look at it and say, wow, that looks like it sucks.
As someone who has gone through Gabe Davis, pause.
I thought you were going to say STDs.
He is still suffering from bipolar depression from last season and doesn't know if he wants to play football or not.
Now, some might say I contributed to Jacob's loss in giving him Trey Sermon to start over Bucky Irving. To those people, I'd say yes.
We all agree, yes. Trey
His
Sermon
running backs are
sucked.
bad right now. They're all injured. I mean, this man, as much as I think it was Josh we were talking about being injured. God damn. Okay, Jacob. And so I'm going to count Tyreek Hill as injured, even though really it's my quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, whose brain is mushed potatoes now. But that affects Tyreek Hill. So that's one injury. Then, just a couple weeks later, Mahomes and Rashee Rice got into a fight about if Patrick Mahomes' wife was more annoying or if Rashee Rice's mom was a bigger criminal. Patrick Mahomes took it very personally and decided to end Rashee Rice's season. Then, on top of that, James Cook, a few weeks later, stubbed his toe. He's out. And then Brian Robinson, I don't even know what he did because he got shot last year and he still came back. So what could have happened to make him not play this week? Jacob is getting really screwed. And then you add on the Trey Sermon onto that. I mean, this man... Has anyone talked to him recently? He might be dead.
That is true. We have not heard from Jacob recently. I also would have ended it all if I would have missed out on 41 points from Tyrone Tracy Jr. and Bucky Irving.
Here's a look at the final score of the game. Tony's team finally decided to show up. Now, a lot of it truly wasn't his fault this whole time, as Joe Mixon looked like a stud to start the year, and then got injured on a hip drop tackle that the NFL supposedly banned and then never actually reviewed or made a comment about how Joe Mixon went out. He dropped 27 points, and he immediately became questionable again because he's an old fuck who got hurt. Excuse me, I burped. As far as the other side, we could just see the injuries. I mean, god damn. He had 3 players combine less for 10 points.
Appalling.
His defense got -1.
That is true. Someone who says that he is a Lions fan now started Dallas's defense against them. Karma's a bitch, Jacob.
Damn, that's it? Oh my god, we're done. Wow. I think this has been really shitty, but I can't tell for sure until I see the end of it.
We'll edit out a lot.
Or we won't. Who knows?
We will.
Even the non-edited parts will probably still be shitty.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you, as always, tuning in to Too Late Takes. You might have missed the first 5 weeks of the show. However, trust me, they're out there. Just don't go looking too hard. I am Clifton Finney. With me, as always, is my co-host...
Jack. Van Leeuwen.
That's it. No, just Zach. That's it.
People don't call me that.
We would like to thank you for watching, and we would also like to say we hope all your players fucking break their legs and die, and we get an easy win. Good night.
Take care, everybody.